And we're live. What's going on, everybody? It is the immovable object, the horniest of gnomes, aka Horny Gnome. What's going on, everybody? It is episode 12, and I'm just winging it tonight. That's kind of what my thing is. I got TikTok pulled up, got some people over there. What's up, everybody over on TikTok land? And then everybody else, we're just kind of seeing what's going on, seeing what we got coming up, and doing some beer reviews tonight, talking a little bit about everything else that's kind of going on and some new stuff going on in my life that I figure we'll hash out. And then, I mean, you know, it's always a good time on the booze cruise, right? A little bit of beer drinking, a little bit of partying. You know, we'll get there. So, for anybody new, this is a Horny Gnome Booze Cruise podcast. I do it every other Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all of those places, and TikTok also. And you can come and be part of the show and comment and whatever, and we'll just kind of move along with your comments and talk about stuff that comes up and answer questions and everything else. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring in the first beer. So the first beer that we're going to be talking about is Mosaic Double IPA from Belching Beaver Brewery. Let's see. There we go. You kind of get a flavor of it there. So this is a double IPA. It is. I had all this ready to go, and then I didn't write it down because that's who I am. It's an 8.8% ABV. I'm pretty sure this was New England style IPA, but Belching Beaver is amazing. They put out amazing stuff, and this one is, of course, just another great example of Belching Beaver and their prowess. This one is a little overcarbonated. I will say that. Like, you guys see that on TikTok land? Look at that. And that was kind of a gentle pour. That wasn't even too heavy of a pour. And I've got a half a glass ahead here. Probably a half a can of this 16-ounce can. It's kind of a little aggressive, but it is what it is, right? We're just going to drink it anyhow because that's what we do. On and off the field, hopping in here. What's going on? Everybody else over here, what's up? What's up? Horny, that's right. What's going on and off the field? If you guys don't catch his show, On and Off the Field is another podcast that's part of PartyCast Network. He has a great sports podcast. Talk a little bit about sports betting and everything else. Sports, it's pretty rad. We like watching those guys. Durf and Dylan over there, and then Mr. Dylan himself does a little video game streaming as well. And so I always like watching him suck ass on that and play some video games here and there. So it's always good. It's always good. So this first beer that we're going to be drinking on is Mosaic Double IPA from Belching Beaver Brewery. It's an 8.8% New England style IPA. However, for being a double, it is definitely opaque. Like, you can see through it just fine. That's not opaque, is it? Yeah, it is. I don't know. Whatever. Good enough. But it's pretty good. It was a little overcarbonated, I will say that. I've had a couple of them lately. I had one from Surly the other day that about blew up in my hand when I opened it. It was so overcarbonated. It sat there, and all I did is opened it, and it probably poured half the beer out in foam out of the top without shaking it up or anything. It was sitting on the shelf in the fridge. So, overcarbonated. All right, this has gone down a little bit. Let's give it the old taste test. Wow, such a really, really soft mouthfeel. It's really juicy. You get a lot of that. So Mosaic, you get a lot of dark fruit out of it. For whatever reason, Mosaic tends to be a little bit more blueberry, raspberry-ish kind of flavoring than, say, like a grapefruit that you would get out of a normal IPA. So there is a little bit of that piney dankness kind of at the back, but very, very mild. This is just a super smooth mouthfeel and a real berry, kind of tropical berry kind of flavor to it. It's not bad at all. This is actually really good. On a scale, say 1 to 10, I'm going probably between a 7.5 and an 8. It's pretty good. It's not my favorite, and I do like Mosaic hops. It's just missing like a little zing or something for me to like, raise it up there a little bit more than that. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But good, very good still. So. It is tasty though. I do enjoy that. Ooh. 3 of these big boy cans is going to be a lot to get through in a solo podcast tonight. But you know what? My mom didn't raise a quitter, so I'm just going to keep burning the midnight oil, and we're gonna find the bottom of the bottle, right? We're just going to keep going. So, without being too specific, work has been absolutely bananas lately. We had a supervisor leave and a lead maintenance person leave, to where it's kind of left me in this weird, I have more seniority than everybody else, except for one other person that doesn't do our job, So it's made it to where, like, I've been the go-to and the guy, right? So, like, everybody's asking me questions. Hey, what's going on with this? Blah, blah, blah. What should we do here? So I'm getting those phone calls all day long. And then I'm getting phone calls from the people above me that are not there, going, hey, where are we sitting with this? Are you done with this yet? Or like I haven't been off my phone all day long. Like, my job went from me answering my phone maybe 10 times a day to me answering my phone like 10 times every half an hour or something ridiculous like that. It's just been I just want to like throw my phone half the days. And so that's kind of been a drag, but like other than that, like we've got a lot of really cool stuff that's happening. And so I'm just kind of trying to stay positive and just realizing that, there's going to be those days, right, to before you get to the end of something that you want to be successful. There's always harder days that you have to get through, and there's just those times. And so the difference between in my opinion, the difference between the guys that stick it out and can handle it and the other guys is the fact that during those hard days, you don't get discouraged to the point where you give up, because you know that, hey, this is just temporary. We're going to get through this, whatever. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm hoping and praying that, something cool will turn around and like it'll be something, the start of something different, and we'll just keep going on it. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Maybe we're ushering in a new era, and so we'll see. There's some chances at some movement as far as my role in the company and stuff like that is kind of up in the air right now, because I could definitely move up. I have potential to move up a couple of different ways, and so that might like eventually work out good or bad for me, right? It might make me more money, but it might make it to where I'm less available to do things like, say, the podcast or whatever. But I'm going to burn that bridge when we get there. So other than that, we're just going to keep talking about beers and hanging out and talking about what else is going on in the world. If somebody has a subject that they want to talk about, they want to hear some back and forth on, I'm all about it. We want to talk about Tom Brady signing a 10-year, $375 million deal with Fox to be a news anchor after this. Like, we'll talk about it. I think it's bananas. I think it's batshit crazy that this motherfucker got essentially a football contract to do football media. I think it's bananas how crazy amount of money that they're throwing at this guy, and he's not even doing the job yet, right? Like, have you ever signed a deal? Every time I see your beard, I want to poke it. Like, how? Like, in the middle, or like, it's like, it's everywhere. It looks like crap today, honestly. Like, that's kind of why I don't mind the low light with just this ring light on, because my beard looks like shit today. I think it's crazy. So this guy isn't even done, right? He's not even done doing the job that he's doing now. You've never heard of this. You've never heard of a guy going, okay, well, I'm still going to work here until I don't want to work here anymore. Okay, well, when you're done there, do you want a job with us? Well, how about 10 years for $375 million? How does that sound? And he's like, yeah, it's cool. And he signs this deal. I think it's crazy. I think it's ludicrous. But at the same time, that's what he wants to do, and that's what he's, I just think it's funny, right? Because he's still going to have to be gone for all these games. He's still going to have to, like, the contract is going to make him to where he's gone for all these games. So he's still going to run into the same problem that he's running into now as far as, like, family time and all that jazz. But he's still making money. $375 million for 10 years. It doesn't, I mean, it seems astronomical. But in the grand scheme of things, this guy is retired, and he just signed a 10-year, $375 million deal. He's going to retire. It's like retire from the sport that he plays now and just talk about the sport that he used to play. And he's going to be like, like all those other washed up football players that are like, oh, if I was in there, I'd be doing this. Like, okay, well, good for you. But I just think it's funny. I think it's funny that over the years, newscasters used to just be sports analysts. Sports analysts used to just be sports analysts. They were just guys that watched sports a lot and they could talk to you about sports. Now, sports analysts are people who used to play sports that think that they have an opinion about sports now. And so that's what they start talking about, right? So then they start talking about, well, back then and this and blah, blah, blah. It's like, these guys don't even, I think that there's guys that are way more qualified to probably talk about sports than the guys that play them. As far as like, okay, yeah, you were a really good, defensive end in the NFL. Okay. But is there a guy that has done nothing but sports analyst stuff for college and everything else that's probably more qualified as far as like knowing statistics and stuff like that? Or are we just going to go, okay, well, this guy was like a mediocre DE in the NFL for 10 years. Let's just, have him talk about it. I just think it's ludicrous. I think it's super, super wild, but, it is what it is. It's a way of professional sports players making money after they retire. I'll just be an analyst, It's like a fallback where it wasn't, say 30 years ago. It wasn't a thing that, John Madden made it a thing. More so than anybody probably. But it is what it is. Okay. Okay. As far as my beard, so I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm gonna go back to Josie's. My favorite song by Blink-182 is Josie, by the way. Anyhow, go back to this beard thing. I really love having this long beard, right? So it's like down to like right out of the mic, right here or so. That's where the last of the hairs is about in this like I'm done peopling part of my shirt. And so I really, really love my beard. I love how long my beard is and stuff like that, and I want to continue to grow it. I've always wanted a really long beard. The only thing is, it hits this weird plateau stage where it is right now, where it's a certain length, and it takes forever to get more than this length. But then it also starts like doing this weird curl thing underneath my chin, on the sides and stuff, because I always grab it like this. So it curls those sides in, and then it just doesn't do what I need it to do. So about once a year, and I've done this for numerous years. It's been this. So I've probably grown this out now for about a year, maybe a little bit less. No, probably more, just a little over a year. But that being said, I've talked about cutting it numerous times because I always feel like, okay, well, it's reached its peak or whatever. I'm going to cut it off and start again and try to grow it again. But then I'll have like a good beard day and I'm like, oh yeah, no, okay, I like it this long, I'll keep this long. And then like 2 days later, I'll have one and it's all curled and it just looks like crap throughout the day. And it looks like, octopus tentacles or something underneath my chin. And I'm like, oh, fuck having this long ass beard. I'm going to cut it all off. And well, so far I've resisted the urge. I've been really good about it. And I've like resisted the urge to like cut it off and stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I could really just cut this thing off right now. We'll see. I'm not sure how it's going to be. We'll see. But that's where I'm kind of at with it. that just made me remember. So let's continue drinking this beer. It's tasty. It really is. It really is. It has some really nice tropical notes, or not, like it's not overly sweet. For an 8.8, it's probably about as sweet as you want it, right? You don't want it too sweet, because I feel like if you get above that 8.8, like 9 out of 10 of those beers that are higher than that are sweet, too sweet, right? Like they add that sugar in to get that alcohol content in, and then I think they're a little overpowering at that point. Like they're just too sweet, like triples and stuff, like triples and quads. They always try to get those up there in that like 8 to 10% range or whatever, but it always tends to be too sweet. This is about right at that cusp. This is to where you got that sweetness. That sweetness is there. It's actually pretty good, but you don't want any more either. This is like, okay, I'm good at this one beer or whatever, So Samantha needs more gnomes. I've got a bunch of gnomes. Like you can't see all of them in the TikTok shot, but I've got a bunch. Like there's like a whole shelf here. This is my like halfway point, and I've got like more past this. And then you can see them over on Twitch and on YouTube. You can see the whole shelf of gnomes. And then I have like a whole nother group of them that's over on my fridge. I have a bunch of gnomes. So thank you. I really like my gnomes. It was kind of one of those things. So I'll talk about the story again. I was looking for a name for my bar, and I had been gaining a little bit more weight, and so I kind of had this gnome shape, right? I have a nice big belly and stuff, and so but I'm taller, like I'm still 5'11" or whatever. So, but I always had a long beard, and sometimes it'll come to a point depending on the day and whatever. So I kind of look like a gnome, I guess, or whatever. So a lot of people had called me that, called me a garden gnome or whatever. So that gnome thing was always kind of around or whatever. And then I was kind of looking for like a funny name of a bar that you would hear, right? Like something like you would go to or whatever. My parents used to live down in Missouri, and there was like a hotel called Big Dick's Halfway Inn, and it was a hotel you could stay at, but it was called Big Dick's Halfway Inn. There was also a bar down there called the Horny Toad and stuff like that. So it reminded me of that, and I was like, oh yeah, Horny Gnome, that'd be funny, like for a bar name. So I have it on my bar top. I have it in bottle caps. That name, and I have it scrolled a couple places, and then so it just kind of stuck. And then when I started doing content, when I started doing TikToks and stuff, then I just kind of stuck with it. I had to change it around to how it's spelled now, because a certain TikTok doesn't like the word horny. It comes down to it. That's what it is. So I'll probably get flagged for this as many times as I've said it. But they just don't like the word. So I had to spell it weird with numbers and stuff to make it work on TikTok. But over on everything else, it's spelled the way it should be. It's Horny Gnome. Booze Cruise on Facebook and YouTube. It is Horny Gnome Bar on Twitch. And then obviously you know what it is on TikTok. So, but yeah, so that's why I have the name. And that's why I collect the gnomes. So I have a couple of cool gnomes. Like I have this one's it's a 5 o'clock somewhere gnome, and then behind my Easter gnome, there's a 420 gnome with he's laying down and a turtle is upside down laying down. And then here I have another one that a fan hand painted and sent to me that says Horny Gnome on the back of it, and it's a gnome holding a big doobie. And then I have like this big guy. He can go to like 4 foot tall stuff. So yeah, it's kind of all over the place. I love gnomes though. So yeah, and they're expensive. They really are. Like I started collecting them, and I always wait for them to go on sale, because like even like this little guy right here. So this little guy has like a pot next to him with like a fake plant in it. At least I don't think, maybe it's real, but it's definitely dead now. And but I think this like original price for this guy was like 30 something bucks or whatever. I think we ended up paying, I don't know, less than 10 bucks or something. My mom got them for me. I don't know. But yeah, so I like collecting gnomes. It's cool. I haven't collected a ton of them, but and then I got some other stuff up on my shelf. I've got like an elephant Buddha because like my dart nickname is Buddha, so I have an elephant Buddha up here, and then I have a Morpheus Funko Pop from the new Matrix movie that I won in a giveaway from Part Time Nerd, and so I have a Funko Pop. So I'm gonna start collecting like my favorite movies Funko Pops. So like Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, stuff like that. I'm gonna collect those Funko Pops. I think. I'm not really into like the video game ones and stuff as much. Like that's not my thing. But yeah. So there we go. And I guess we can kind of segue into talking about this. So video games have re-entered my life. Okay. And let me start by saying I don't play video games. I like. I probably haven't consistently played a video game in like 10 years. And the only thing is, as you become an adult, and the further in you become an adult, you realize that like there's less and less time to hang out with your friends. It's just part of the nomenclature, right? It's like in the fine print of becoming an adult, you spend less and less time with friends. It just happens. And so especially and then like you introduce COVID into that whole thing, and then it's a whole different thing, right? So I had found out that a bunch of my or a group of my friends that we all hang out and stuff, they were all kind of playing video games together, and so I got a little bit of FOMO, you know what I mean? Like I'm human. I was like, oh man, it'd be cool to hang out with them and play video games, but I don't play video games. And it was kind of my thing that I always kind of stuck to. It was like, oh, I don't ever have fucking time to play video games. At this point, I'm an adult. You know, I work 10 to 12 hours a day every day. I come home. I have 4 daughters that have a billion things going on. I just don't have time. I have a little bit of time here and there for this podcast and like to shoot a TikTok every day or whatever. But that's about all I have time for. But I was like, man, it'd be cool to like every once in a while, I throw darts. I try to throw darts with the old lady and stuff like that with my girlfriend every day as much as possible. Just because we're in dart leagues and things, and we have a really cool setup for a dart board here at the house. And so I was like, oh, I like doing that. I was like, well, maybe I can maybe cut back a day or two of that and just play some video games with my friends. But I didn't have anything. I hadn't bought a console since like 2000 and oh god, I don't know. Maybe 2012, 2013 I bought a PS3. No, 2010. 2010 I bought a PS3 when right around the same time. It would have been when income taxes came that year, and my daughter would have been like 2. My youngest daughter would have been 2. And so I started playing video games then, but then I stopped. Like me and my kids' mom split up, and I got the PlayStation, but I used it for DVDs, I used it for YouTube, I used it for whatever, but I didn't use it to play. Like my kids used it some, but not a ton. So it just kind of got packed away, and I just didn't use it. Well, all my friends now are playing stuff online together. They're playing Fortnite and Rocket League and that kind of thing. And so I kind of always had it in the back of my mind. I was like, hey, yeah, it'd be cool to play with them. But I really don't play video games. I haven't played video games in 10 years, whatever. And it just got to a point where I was like, you know what? Like, I had income taxes coming, and I was like, maybe I do want to play with them. Maybe I want to try that now. Like, maybe I want to try to start playing video games again. I'll start playing with these guys, Because then it's just another revenue where I can get that social interaction with my friends, but like not have to be together. We can still hang out and whatever. And so that's kind of like why I started. So I was like, I bought a used off of another friend of mine. I bought a used PS4, and then I just started playing a couple weeks ago. I started playing video games again. So now I play Fortnite with the guys. I play a little bit of Rocket League. I play Warzone with my soon-to-be future father-in-law. And stuff like that. So it's kind of cool because like I get that interaction with those guys, and they don't have to come over. I don't have to go over there and whatever. And so it's kind of cool. It's something different. I suck. Like I'm I am bad at video games. I'm not gonna lie. Like I know 8-year-olds that are probably better than me at video games. It's just because I haven't played video games in like 10 years or whatever. So, Tina, the Rocket League failures, my podcast achievement. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you just have to hit that ball into the middle. You see how the teammates hit it into the middle and the other one hits it in? Yeah. Tina hopping in. Tina was on our other podcast, Unlikely Role Models. So she had a guest spot a couple weeks ago. It was pretty fun. So, but yeah, so I just started playing. So like I said, I started playing Rocket League and Fortnite and Warzone. That's all I'm playing online right now. But I have other games. I bought Spider-Man and some other games. I just haven't had like a whole lot of time where like I spent like any more than like an hour or so playing. I just need to get some time behind the console, you know, and like back playing video games again. I haven't done that forever. So maybe a couple of these days when I don't have a billion things going on right now. We've got our oldest daughter is graduating this weekend. It'll be her party's Friday, graduation Saturday. So we'll have a bunch of family up and stuff like that. So I don't know how much I'll get to spend doing anything on it this week, but I'm hoping that sooner or later I'll be able to spend a little bit of time and get some stuff going. So yeah, here we go. So I'm just gonna finish up this beer real quick, even though I've got like a bunch left. Let's get to our next beer. Huh. I tell you what, my beard and mustache just like drinks it. It's what it likes. It just drinks it. Okay. I'm going to get rid of that glass though. The next beer in the lineup is going to be Deftones Beauty School Pilsner. So Deftones and Belching Beaver Brewery did like a collab, and they have this one, they have Phantom Bride and a couple others that are Deftone beers, but they're like collaboration beers. So this is Beauty School Pilsner. It is a 5% ABV. Let me give you the readout on the can. It says Beauty School is a modern take on the classic Pilsner style. This beer takes the crisp and refreshing drinkability of a bright Pilsner and packs in a dry hop regimen of tropical flavors and dank aromas that will drive you wild. You'll be shooting for the stars after one sip. It says Deftones. So this is from Oceanside, California. Belching Beaver is out of Oceanside, California. I didn't talk about that earlier, but it is. And so this is their take on a Pilsner. So they dry hopped it. It says tropical notes. So I'm going to almost assume that it's Citra hops. It's almost always Citra hops. But it is what it is. So, but yeah, so let's pour this one out and see what we think. So those flavor profiles that they always talk about, right? So if they talk about tropical, if they talk about dank, whatever, those flavor profiles are achieved through the hops that they use. So some of it's from the malt bill and stuff like that, obviously. But then the rest of it is because of it comes from the hops that they use in that beer, period, right? So 9 out of 10 times it's an IPA that they're talking about. But like this is a Pilsner. So it'll still have a hop that they put in or whatever, but it doesn't have that flavoring. It doesn't have that tropical. It usually doesn't have that dankness to it. So they just use like almost what I consider anymore like a generic hop, and then to flavor that. But then all of it comes from the malt bill. There's like that bready backbone and stuff like that. It's associated with the Pilsner. That all comes from the malt bill. So now this one, they took that bready maltiness of a Pilsner, and then I'm going to assume towards the end of the process, they dry hopped it, and this is what you get. Rodney hopping in over on TikTok. What's going on, brother? How are you today? I'm getting ready to drink this right here. This Deftones Beauty School Pilsner from Belching Beaver Brewery out of Oceanside, California. And so here we go. Look at that color. Isn't that a great color? It's got this nice straw, really light straw color, completely see-through, no problems there. Rodney is drinking on Four Roses small batch. I tell you what, Rodney, if you want to stick around on this podcast, I might even break into a special one that I got a couple weeks ago. I might have a drink with you on this one. But we're going to review this beer first. Okay, so you get that bready maltiness, like I said, right? So like think of a brighter, maybe not lighter, but a brighter, crisper version of like a Miller Lite, right? So a Miller Lite is a Pilsner. So you take that and you make it a little bit more bready, just a little, not a lot, not PBR bready, but a little bit more bready, and then you just give a little bit of backbone on it with that dank dry hop. Oh, it's pretty tasty. It's super tasty. All of this so far, all of the Deftones beers that I've had have been just outstanding. For Belching Beaver, little kiss for you guys. What's up? Who's hopping in here? Sari hopping in here. Hey, you sexy beast. Hey, girl. What's going on? Man, that was a terrible tongue roll, wasn't it? Should I try again, guys? Here we go. Is that better? That's a little better. That was at least start to finish, right? Fucking come on. So yeah, we're just trying this Deftones. I love the Deftones, by the way, as a band. Like, I'm a big new metal kind of guy. Like, that's my jam. Growing up, I definitely had like Jinko jeans and a barbell necklace and jammed out to Deftones and 3 Days Grace and, you know, all that shenanigans. But this is so Deftones inspired. Deftones is still putting out new music. They're doing pretty awesome. I have never seen Deftones live. I would love to, though. That'd be super rad. I definitely would like that. Sari says big Deftones fan also. Hell yeah. Let's go. I love the Deftones. Changes is arguably like easily in my book top 10 for sure. Top 10 songs. Changes. There we go. The can looks cool. I agree, right? So it's got this great. You guys can all see it kind of. So it's I want to say this is almost like album cover, right? It's just lips with some like pixelation a little bit and stuff. It's pretty rad. Very rad. Belching Beaver does just a dynamite job on their can art normally, I think. Like their Hazer's Gonna Haze IPA that they have out is like a couple like cool cats in front of like like leather jackets and stuff sitting in front of like a brick wall that says Hazer's Gonna Haze. It's kind of rad. So unlikely role models hopping in here. My co-host Kyle hopping in here with love you. I love you too, brother. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on that. It's a super tasty Pilsner with just a little extra, right? So Kyle, I think you'd enjoy this. I really do. So this is a Pilsner, so this would be like a Miller Lite with just a little extra huspa on the back of it. Little Jewish term for you, like just a little kicker on the back end there. It's actually really good though. So I got some bangers for us Thursday too. So if you guys on TikTok land or anywhere else do not watch our Thursday show, you definitely have to watch our Thursday show. I've got a co-host for that, and we talk about all kinds of randomness. We talk about funny news stories and state laws that are crazy, and all kinds of different things. And so that's on Thursdays, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. From this TikTok account as well, until our TikTok account gets bigger. Oh, did I lose a little bit of light? I did. It's gonna be okay. I just my tape got loose. Whatever. But I I say that about every beer. I do say that about every beer, Kyle, but I'm telling you right now, I think this is one you'd like. This is like a uh, pretty subtle like transformation or whatever you want to call it, from a pills like a regular domestic beer to just like a little extra. And I think that the little extra wouldn't be off putting enough for you to not like it. So I still got another can of it. We'll try it when you're here. But yeah, so that's kind of what I feel about this one. So it's a Miller Lite with like a little extra zing. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna just try to get this stupid ring light back on, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I'm back. So sorry, I'm back. So let me tell you about why I hate this stupid ring light. Um, uh, oh, Carissa, how are you? What's up? How are you doing? I'm doing good. I checked out some of your TikToks. I like them. They're pretty slamming. Um, so this stupid ring light. Uh, my beautiful, wonderful, thoughtful girlfriend knew I've been wanting a ring light for a long time. So she went out and found one, right? And it's got a phone holster on it and everything. But it was like a discount at like Menards or something like that for like, I don't know, 10 or 15 bucks, or right? So, but it has a full tripod on it and everything. Has a phone holder in the middle. I was like, this is exactly what we've been needing. I don't know that the ring light is what we need because it doesn't put out enough for the two of us, but it puts out enough for a single podcast, right? And so I was like, oh, it's cool. I really appreciate it, whatever. But after the first time using it, the damn thing wouldn't light up. And I couldn't figure out what the power button, like why it wouldn't light up. And it changes. You can brighten it. You can change some colors and stuff. And I couldn't figure out why it wasn't doing it. And then I was like, oh, I get it now. That's why the damn thing was discounted, is because there's like a loose wire that goes, and I'm sure it happens on all of them because they're all like from the factory. And so you have to like bend the wire back just right and tape it down with like Gorilla Tape to work. And so I got it to work. I've been using it at least for the solo podcast. But I was like, no wonder the damn thing was like, whatever it was. It's probably like I think it's like a 10-inch light ring, which is a smaller light ring, obviously. But I was like, it works really good for what it is, except for when the damn thing doesn't work because the tape gets loose. And I have Gorilla Tape on it, which is way better than duct tape. And it still gets loose because it gets warm out here. It's like 80 degrees out here right now. So it's like, damn it. Whatever. You know what? It's all technical difficulties that I run into every day. Every day. Carissa, yeah, absolutely. I checked out some of your stuff. I follow Sari's stuff, so I see your stuff all the time too, because you guys duet and whatever all the time. But yeah, no, I checked out some of your stuff. It was very cool. I liked you. I give you a follow and all that jazz. So, but I appreciate you hopping in here on the solo one. All I'm doing is I'm just doing some beer review stuff, and we'll go from there. Some crazy other shenanigans might happen. I don't ever know. I do know that I really like this beer though. This is a phenomenal Pilsner. Up here, this nice Deftones Beauty School. So I want to say, and God, I'm gonna feel I feel like such a poser about it, but they call it a beauty school pilsner. I don't know if maybe that's what they named like an album with this cover, and maybe I just don't know. I feel like a little bit of a poser because it's like, no, I know their old shit. I don't know their new shit. So it's a super cool can. I love this can. It's subtle, but like just this chick's like little nose and her lips. It's all pixelated out. Not quite as much as like a Andy Warhol kind of. Not Andy Warhol. Who am I thinking of? It does like that pop art stuff. Anyhow, it's not super pixelated. It's just pixelated like on the corners. Like here. Ready? Will it focus? There it goes. You can see it a little bit. You can see it a little bit. Can you guys see it over here? A little bit. There you go. You can see it. So it's not. It's just. I don't know. It's cool. It's a very cool graphic picture for sure. Chris, I'd buy it. Absolutely. I think it's cool. It's a Pilsner, so it's like a Miller Lite with like a little extra kick, right? It's actually really good. But yeah, Kyle wants to be a naysayer over here with that. You sound like you say that about every beer. You know what? Suck my balls. That's what I can say on this podcast that I can't say on our podcast. Suck my balls, because I really think you'd probably like this beer, but you want to be a naysayer about every beer I tell you I think you're going to like. You just want to be a bitch about it. So there you go. That's what I got to say about that. Can you handle that? What the fuck movie is that from? I want to say it's Ben Stiller that says it. Can you handle that? Like into a camera? I don't remember what it is. Somebody has to help me out on this, because I can't remember what movie it is, where he's like acting like a psychopath and like talking tough into a camera, like a hidden camera or something like that. I just don't remember what movie it is now, because it's like, I want to say it's like a credit scene or something like that. But he's like freaking out and he's like, "Can you handle that?" Like into the, I don't know. Maybe I'm just delusional, or I don't know, high. I don't know. I don't have an answer, but we're moving on is what we're doing. So that's like one of these. Oh, I turned it down. Why did I turn it? There we go. That's what that is. Any hooser. What else we got to talk about? Let's. The weather in Nebraska is pretty great. It's starting to warm up, and we've actually gotten some rain. I will say this, right? So I was totally loving this super long, like, trail end of winter, because it was keeping the grass down. It was keeping the grass dry and dead and down, and I was like all about it. And then out of nowhere, Revenge of the Dandelions. Those bastards started popping up and showing their ugly damn heads everywhere in my yard. And so it made my Woostatail, what's going on? Welcome. And so it made my damn yard look crappy, and it's like one of those things where it's like, this is BS. My yard was fine 4 days ago, and now it looks like I've not touched my yard in 2 years. And so I had to go, and I will say, I have a process with my mower. So other people just like, oh, it's winter time, I'll unplug my like battery charger, it starts right up, and I'm gonna go mow. I don't have that. I always got one wheel that's a flat that I've got to take off, and I've got to go fill the damn thing up, and it's always out of gas because I always park it out of gas at the end of the year, and the battery's always dead, so I got to put a battery charger on it all damn day. Charge the battery up to even be able to use the thing. And then, so here's the bad thing. I know all of this. So I obviously, my saying as a willful procrastinator is like, why put off today what you can do tomorrow? And, or why do today what you could put off until tomorrow? I am such a procrastinator. And so this weekend I broke down and I filled it up and I got everything going to where like all I had to do was come home Monday and like air up the tire, and then I'd be good to go, and I could mow. And I did, and I love mowing. I love just throwing headphones on and going jamming for 2 hours of some mowing or whatever, just like any good dad does. But I'll be damned if it still doesn't chap my ass, because I was enjoying not mowing just as much, right? Like, I was like, oh, it'll be fine. That grass isn't going to grow. There's no rain. And then, boom, all of a sudden, this rain came and grass started growing, and I was like, son of a bitch. Oh, man. Here, let's hop over here on the TikTok. Carissa saying, oh my God, amazing today. I'm sitting on the deck with my fire pit. There you go. I had the fire pit going yesterday. I don't have it going today. I had the podcast, so it kind of didn't make sense. And if I can eventually figure out how to like rig this kind of to like go off extension cords to where I can just do this podcast by the fire pit, I might do it one time just to, you know, F around and find out or whatever. But yeah, so that's kind of, I had a fire going all on last night, and I grilled out. I didn't get a grill out tonight either. I didn't eat shit. I ate some like hot wings, some like oven hot wings or whatever. And then Woosa Sales says, just killed a notorious triple IPA a little while ago. Woo! Where was that from, Woosa Sale? I'm just kind of curious on where that was from, bro. And then Carissa is back in here with, yeah, my older son has a mowing business and he's getting busy. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. Honestly, I think that's a great job for anybody, like even a daughter, right? So I have some daughters that are a little bit more, how do I want to say it? They're a little bit more less girly, right? They're a little bit more adventurous. They're a little okay with getting some grease on them and stuff like that. And so I think like a mowing business, especially during the summer for them, is an amazing idea. I think that this next year, I think, so my daughter will be 15. I think she can start driving as far as like school permit is concerned or whatever. But I think there's some loopholes in Nebraska to where you can start driving all the time, kind of, right? So you get like, even with a learner's permit and stuff like that, you can, well, maybe not with just, but like, so you can get a school and work permit. And I think so even with a work permit, she could like drive around during the summers and like pull a little trailer with a couple mowers or whatever and take care of that. So I think that's a great idea for a little job, especially for like high school students. If you don't want to go work at like Dairy Queen or whatever and like, you know, with their bureaucratic bullshit, I think that's a great idea. And realistically, you know, as long as you stay busy, you can do it and knock it out fast and people pay you. I think that's a great business. For younger kids, it's money. Woostale hopping in here. Boneyard Brewing from Bend, Oregon weighs in at 11.5. Damn, son. That's a stiff one. That's a stiffy, bro. That's pretty crazy. Was it like labeled as a double or an imperial or something like that? 11.5 is like imperial territory for sure. That's pretty wild. I'm gonna just keep sipping on this pills, and then I got one more for us if we get to it. I might skip it. I might skip the last beer and go to some bourbon, but we'll see where we're sitting. Man, that beauty school pills is just, it's there. It's super, super good. I say super a lot. So I go back through these, I go back through these videos and stuff like that, these podcasts, and I listen to myself and I see what I say a lot, and then I try to like back it off, right? So I know that I say literally, and every time I say literally, I enunciate like literally, kind of like ugh. Anyhow, so I say that. Definitely is another one I say all the time. Like, this is definitely killer, blah, 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 blah. I say definitely all the time. And then I say super, which I think is so terrible. And I feel so dumb for saying it. But I'm like, oh no, this is super good. Blah, blah, blah. This is super. And I'm like, I say it all the time. And I'm like, man, how dumb do you sound to other people when you're just like saying stuff like repeatedly over and over? Like I know I've gone back through podcasts and listened to myself say super, I don't know, 20 times in a podcast or something to like describe how something tastes or whatever. And I'm like, oh, you sound so terrible. You're such a dummy. Okay, so Woostertail says it's not a hot bomb either. That's super cool though. So it's not a hot bomb, but it's a triple IPA. Yeah, so was it pretty sweet then? As a triple, 11.5 is like that's stiff. That's stiff. BSB is your favorite. BSB, what are you talking about, Carissa? I'm curious. BSB, tell me what you mean. Sorry. Caleb hopping in here. Let's go, bro. Absolutely. Thanks for hopping in here, man. Crazy Irish is hopping in here. What's going on? You caught my live finally. Yeah, I'm on Twitch. If you want to go over to Twitch, you sure can. I'm over on Twitch at Horny Gnome Booze Cruise on Twitch is what my Twitch thing is. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. I have no problem admitting that I'm wrong either. Over on Twitch, it is Horny Gnome Bar, but spelled the correct way. HORNYN or GNOMEBAR. It's Horny Gnome Bar spelled the correct way over on the Twitch, and I'll see your comments over there too. So, it's sweet, but it's not sickly sweet. They nailed it. Awesome. That's really good. Woostertail, send me that in the DMs so I know what beer you're talking about, and I'll try to find it and do a review. Crazy Irish, yeah, man, I'm over on Twitch. So, and I told you what it is. It's Horny Gnome Bar, all one word, spelled the correct way. TBK, BSB was a lot better before Jamie Buck. What am I missing? What is BSB or BSB? What am I missing here? Boneyard ROM RPM. Boneyard RPM. I don't know what is that. Boneyard is what from Bend, Oregon, which is what Woostertail is talking about. Backstreet Boys, duh. Oh, whatever. Who is talking about? Why are we talking about Backstreet Boys? I don't think that's what Carissa's talking about. Carissa, are you talking about Backstreet Boys? Brown sugar bourbon. I don't know what BSB is. Oh, brown sugar bourbon. What? I don't know that I've ever heard of brown sugar bourbon. Yeah, Boneyard distributes it. Yeah, they're from Bend, Oregon, so I would assume they. So I did. What did I do from Oregon the other day? I don't remember what beer it was. There was something. Brown sugar bourbon. I don't know what you're talking about, Carissa. So, okay, you have to fill me in. Is it like a cocktail kind of situation? Or what are you talking about? Hey, thanks for sharing the live out. Absolutely. Okay, I have it in the cupboard. I can send you a handshake. Next trade. Oh, brown sugar bourbon? Wait a minute. Where's that from? Yeah, no, I'll send you. I've got some Nebraska bourbon to send you. And I don't know that you've gotten chugs. I have some chugs I could send you. And I have some 10-year Elijah Craig I think I could send you to. Gig Harbor, Washington. Oh. I've never heard of that shit before. Now you got me wanting bourbon. Let me finish this Pilsner, and then I'm going to get into this bourbon. I'll do a review of this bourbon right here. Live in living color. But we'll do it. I don't care. I'm just going to drink this Pilsner. This is that Deftones Beauty School Pilsner. So tasty. Okay, so Carissa says, I will either drink it on ice or cook with it. So, okay, so I like bourbons. I'm not going to lie. So I like using bourbons for sweet rubs, right? Because they have like a little caramely. They have like a little, like already like a little of that brown sugary kind of tint to them, right? That not tint, taste, right? They have like that different sweet, right? Different kind of sweet. And so I like using bourbons in like with hams and stuff like that. If I'm gonna like, excuse me, gosh, I get burpy really bad lately. I'm not sure what the deal is there, but sorry guys. I use bourbons in like sweeter rubs. So I'll do like bourbon mixed with brown sugar or honey, and I'll use that over like a sweet ham or something. So it has that nice sweet caramely outside, and then like some of that penetrates obviously inside. You get that smoky inside. I like doing that. I don't cook with it any other way than that. So I'd be interested in how you use what you use it to cook with. Like I'm kind of, that's kind of different. Caleb says makes an interesting Manhattan. I would see that, right? I could definitely see using a Manhattan. You take those bitters to draw that down a little bit, and then you just go to town. I think that would be interesting. It would be I would assume it's overly sweet, right? But that's interesting. I've never ever heard of a brown sugar bourbon before. That's crazy. Let's see. It says Woostatail says BSB is sickly sweet by itself, and I really like it mixed with apple cider. Oh, okay. I could see that. I could definitely see that. And then he says I like BSB 103 better. So 103. So you're talking, that's a ABV rating of 103. Percentage would be something along the lines of like 51.5 or something. Okay. So that's interesting. I mean, I didn't know there was like a hotter version of that too. Okay. And then Crazy Irish, did you ever try a peanut butter beer? I had one from Woodchuck. So you had one from. So what did you have from Woodchuck? I've tried a lot of peanut butter beers. So Nebraska actually makes a top 10 peanut butter porter that is top 10 in the nation for porters. According to a couple of different magazines, they've won awards and stuff like that. And it's a peanut butter porter. I've tried some peanut butter and jelly sours and stuff like that, and tried some different things there. So it really, I'm not sure what you mean. So Carissa says cowboy beans. So this is what she's doing to cook with it. What is she doing to cook with it? Cowboy beans, roast caramelized carrots, and steak marinades. I wouldn't use it for steak. I don't like sweet and savory. I'm one of those weird dudes that doesn't. I think sweet should be sweet, savory should be sweet, savory. I don't like that honey on my chicken nuggets bullshit. I'm not that guy. I really just enjoy savory if I want savory, sweet if I want sweet. I don't want a combination of both. The closest thing you're gonna get to me is if I use like a bourbon honey glaze on a ham or whatever. But I also know that ham is already gonna be sweet, so I don't count that in that savory category the same way. Okay, so then Caleb says high altitude BSB. Rapid Dave hopping in here. What's going on, Rapid Dave? Thanks, buddy. I know it's way past your bedtime. Crazy Irish. I am in Nebraska, brother. That's where I'm at. Have I tried the Belching Beaver peanut butter stout? Yes, I have. It's actually really good. Okay, so Crazy Irish says peanut butter sour. There is, even from like Puff. So there's like a Puff XL that's a peanut butter and jelly sour. It's actually really good. I don't know who makes Puff TF though. Caleb, that TBK might be able to answer that. I don't remember who makes the Puff Tart stuff. But that Belching Beaver peanut butter stout is actually really, 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 really good. I think it's outstanding, and but I don't think it's as good as Long Route from Imperium. So Long Route is the peanut butter porter from Imperium, which is out of Lincoln, Nebraska. That stuff is amazing. It's really, really good. Strikeout beer is it is, but what? Okay, hold on. I got too many comments coming in over on the TikTok. It is, but I wanted to say, hey, what's going on? Rapid Dave hopping in here from Strikeout Beer. I really appreciate it. You're addicted to peanut butter shots. Are you talking about Screwball? Is that what you're saying? Yes, Caleb. That Puff XL makes a peanut butter and jelly sour, and I was just kind of wondering if you remembered who made it. The Brewing Project. There you go. Absolutely. Peanut butter and jelly shots. So Screwball and I've seen a lot of variations, right? So if you're gonna go that peanut butter shot, I've always heard of people using that Screwball peanut butter and then different versions of things for the jelly part of it. I've heard as much as blackberry brandy and peanut butter, which I would think it would taste like ass. I hate blackberry brandy. It's just one of my things. It's not my cup of tea at all. But there's all kinds of jelly-ish sweet things you could probably put in there. I don't know which particular shot you're talking about. Crazy Irish says Squirrel, preferably over Screwball. Who is Squirrel from? Crazy Irish says I tried blackberry jelly last week. Not a fan. Yeah, I don't like blackberry brandy. I don't like blackberry anything, if we're going to be straight, except for blackberries. I don't mind eating blackberries fresh off the tree or whatever, but I don't like it in any kind of other situation. But yeah. Caleb, TBK124 says the Starlight Blackberry Bourbon is actually solid. Where is Starlight out of at? Then I'm kind of curious. Chris says apparently I need to go shopping. Absolutely. If you want to be on this podcast or our other one too, Carissa, you're close enough. You could hit us up and we can make it happen. We'll have you and Sari on for a night on one of them. I don't care. I'll have you both on my solo one or whatever we want to do. So if you want to be part of it, hit me up or hit Sari up and we'll figure it out. Okay, so Crazy Irish says peanut butter whiskey maker. I like the Squirrel brand better. Has more peanut butter taste. I've never heard of Squirrel as a liquor brand. Squirrel. I don't know. But Indiana. Caleb says Chris says sweetness. Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, we'd love to have you on. You're close to where I'm sure we could figure it out. You could come over. We could do a wine versus beer night or something like that. Siri and I have already been talking about it. So if you want to be part of that, we're totally down to have you over. Caleb says it's 84 proof. I'm down for that, right? That's not overly aggressive. You're sitting at 84 proof. You're sitting at 42%. That's not super wild by any means or whatever. I think I could handle that. I think so. Here's the kicker, right? Some of that stuff says it's X amount, but tastes way hotter. But I feel that's above that 100 mark, because Wild Turkey 101 drinks 101. It doesn't drink too much hotter than that, right? But I've got some other stuff that's 118 that drinks 130, and so so it just depends. There's a fine damn line between where okay, this tastes what it says it is, and then this is hot as hell, right? So it just depends. Mix it with lemon liqueur, it's a knockout. Are you talking about the peanut butter? Crazy Irish, are you talking about mix that peanut butter with lemon liqueur? That sounds like crap. I'm not sure what's going on there. Caleb says, mix it with lemonade. Okay. Mix it with lemonade and a touch of Sprite. Makes a great like drink day. What are we talking about? Are we talking about the blackberry brandy shit, or are we talking about the brown sugar bourbon? I don't know. Ram's Point was a peanut butter whiskey either. Oh, okay. Caleb says, dude, my Angel's Envy barrel has the longest finish. Oh. Yeah, but is it hot or just it has a long finish? Because there's a big difference, right? So mix the peanut butter with lemon. I'm out on that. I don't know why. It just doesn't seem like it would jive. And I don't get me wrong. I'll try anything. I'll probably try anything twice if you want to ask me nicely. But that seems super weird. Peanut butter and lemon sounds like dog ass. It's only 1 notes in, but it's hot. Oh, okay. I get what you're saying, Caleb. Okay. The blackberry bourbon. Yeah, so I've got one. You know what? Well, let's crank it out. I'm gonna throw a song up. You guys are just gonna see me for a sec. I'm not gonna drink Fireball. That's gross. I don't do that. That's not. But I have some bourbon. So give me a second. I'm gonna get this bottle down real quick. I'm gonna grab a little sniffer glass real quick. Give me 1 sec. I'll be right back. Just enjoy the tunes for a sec. I know TikTok, you guys can't hear me, but it is what it is. Alright, we're back. We're back for this shit show. Okay, so we're gonna, instead of doing another beer review, which I kinda had set up, we're gonna do a bourbon review. I will say is that yeah, that's a Captain Private Stock bottle right here. Yep. I've done a few of those. I got like 3 of them back there. I have some Pirate also, and I think that might be it for rums back there. I do have like a Coruscant aged rum bottle too, but it's got a little bit left in it. I like rum. I like rum a lot. I really should be doing like a Kenny Chesney Blue Chair Banana Rum review because I really love it, and I worked at a bar and we just like knocked it out of the park. We did it all the time. Like banana rum and Coke from Blue Chair is like the best. Women love it, men love it. It's really, really good. Okay. Anyhow, we're going to do a bourbon review, which is kind of new to the podcast. I don't think I've done a bourbon review. I might have. I don't remember. It's been a long time ago. So I got my rocks glass. My mommy got me these rocks glasses. They have like indentions and like 4 sides of them so you can hold them better. Like they're kind of, I don't know how to, but they're cool. And then I just got some generic ass ice in there. And then so this is what we're going to be reviewing. So this is the Sideshow Spirits Lincoln straight bourbon whiskey. So they have to say straight bourbon whiskey because it's not quite bourbon yet. There's so many rules around what you can like really, really say is bourbon. So bourbon has to be a entire corn mash bill, and it has to be aged for 24 months minimum in oak charred barrels, yada yada yada. So there's two different versions that they have of this straight bourbon whiskey. They have a Lincoln straight bourbon whiskey, which is one where they have like a mixture. It's like a little bit of wheat also, and then a little bit of corn. So it's almost like what you'd have out of like a rye or something, right? And then the other one, which is the Nebraska straight bourbon whiskey, is that corn bill. So that's the original production bourbon that they turned into a bourbon whiskey so you can enjoy it right away. And then they took half of it and put it in barrels to age it long enough. So one version aged like a year, the other version will be straight bourbon, and it will release in December after the 2 years or whatever. So yeah, there we go. 51% corn. That's all right. So this is what I got. So I put an ice cube in it because I've had it before, but it's good. It just drinks a little hot. So we are all on the same page on what's going on here. This is batch number 001. So this is out of the very, very first batch of the Lincoln version of the straight bourbon whiskey that they made. So this is cask strength, single barrel cask strength from batch number 001. It is 118 proof, aka 59%. So I'm pretty stoked about it. I got to do a private distillery tour. If you haven't seen that tour, go over to my TikTok. It is HorneGnome Horny Gnome bar, but it's spelled Hornee. Go over to my TikTok and you can see I did a full walkthrough of like the whole bar space, and then we got to do a private tour of the distillery too. And then we got to see all the machines and everything and do some tastings. It was pretty rad. So I'm just kind of letting this water kind of get into it a little bit, just because it drinks a little bit hotter. So I like a little bit more water in there, but it is what it is. So you know what? If everybody wants to call me a bitch on the bourbon side of things, I don't see you guys drinking the 118, so I don't want to hear it. But yeah, so this is outstanding. I've honestly already had it. I bought a bottle of each, but this is the one I haven't reviewed yet. So let's give it a little on the nose. So I'm not gonna lie, it's a little hot on the nose even. But you're getting a lot of that caramel, however you want to say it. Somebody correct me, because I always say caramel, whatever. I think I always say caramel when I'm talking about the taste of something, but I say caramel, like caramel apple. I always say caramel. So I think it's maybe a coastal thing. I don't know. Some people say caramel, some people say caramel. So you're getting that. You're also getting like that wood. You smell this oak charred barrel smell throughout this whole thing for sure. And then not a lot of fruit, but I feel like there's fruit flavors that should be present. I'm just like, I have a beer nose, I don't have a bourbon nose, and I feel like that's two different things. It really is. If you want to like get down to brass tacks, people that have like a bourbon nose can pull out that apple or that apricot or whatever out of bourbon smells, and my palate's not there. Like, as far as like my nose palate is not there. I can tell you what's in a beer. Like, I can tell you usually as far as what hops have what tastes and things. I can really tell you usually, and I could pick that out of a beer. I can't pick it out of bourbon. Is there an age statement? It feels young, so that's a good point that TBK makes. When a bourbon is older, when it's aged, when it has that time in, that smooths out that flavor, that takes out that bite from that heat, a little bit, and it makes it just a little smoother on the back end, but it also makes it smoother in the nose. I feel like young bourbons and young whiskeys that haven't had that time have like a little bit more bite in the nose. This definitely has some bite in the nose still. You got to sit down with some bourbons and go work through it. I agree. I think so. Obviously, I'm kind of still new to this bourbon thing. I only got into bourbon probably a year ago. And then even then, I didn't go crazy with it. Like, I'd buy a bottle every couple of months or something. Like, I'm probably only on my sixth or seventh bottle, maybe, something of bourbon, nothing crazy. And so, maybe a little bit more than, maybe I'm closer to 10, but even then, so it's just not something I'm super, super deep into. I went way deeper into this craft beer world of things. Okay, now that we got this ice melted down in there a little bit, here we go. So it still pulls hot, but the ice definitely helps kind of smooth it out a little bit. There's a bunch of really interesting flavors that come across the tongue. It's just hard to pull them out. So I am catching a little bit of what I would associate with cherries. And there's a little bit of dryness that I would associate with like grapes. But not enough to say, oh, I'm tasting a grapey flavor, or I'm tasting like what I would assume is a cherry flavor. I'm not getting that. I'm just getting some of those same kind of sensations and little bit like little hints of taste of what I associate with, say, cherries or whatever. Like there's a little bit of a very slight medicinal kind of quality to this that I would associate with like that cherry flavor of like baked in cherry, not artificial cherry, but like baked in cherry. You get a little bit of that medicinal cherry kind of flavor to it. The caramel, what I would consider caramel, whatever, is kind of muted. It's a little bit below, but I think that heat kind of pushes it, right? So like that heat kind of, it's one of those things like, how do I want to say it? It's like you're going past a bunch of cars and all the cars look alike except for one of them's on fire. You're still going to know that the one's on fire. That's kind of where I'm at, right? So I'm tasting these things, and those things are like presenting themselves up there and whatever, but I'm still getting that little bit of heat too. So TBK hops in here. Dryness like Wild Turkey or Woodinville. So dryness like Wild Turkey is where I'm going with it. Probably, I would assume it. I like. Yeah. So Wild Turkey 101, and this is similar in that I feel like Wild Turkey 101 tastes a little hotter. And it's pretty young usually, or like Wild Turkey 101 is usually pretty young, like it's only two years or whatever, and they kick it. So that's where you get some of this. Yeah, back of the tongue. Back of the tongue is exactly where you're getting it. As far as sawdust, I'm not tasting that at all. I'm not tasting like an overly woody taste by any means. It's overall sweet and satisfying. It's just not overpoweringly sweet, and it's not overpoweringly like, oh, this is so good, like I need to take another drink. Like it's right in the middle there. It is a really good whiskey. I would consider this a great whiskey. I think it's got a lot going on, and it gives you like a complex flavor profile, but it's nothing. It's not like I'm like, oh, this is the best damn whiskey I've ever had. It's good. It's not up there in like my top echelon as far as whiskeys are concerned. So, but it's good. I'm gonna keep drinking on it. Finish off my day. And I'm not gonna get into this last beer. I'm just not. I'm at like almost an hour and a half in. I'm kind of okay with that too. I'm gonna go 6 more minutes. The only reason I'm going 6 more minutes, that kills me at 11:30. I'm okay with that, or 11 o'clock. I'm okay with that. So new thing is kind of going on. I haven't yet, but I'll probably get like at least a version of merch going again. I've got some people like Caleb. Caleb's gonna get a special package from me with some new stuff. Wild Turkey 101 isn't as young as you think. Yeah, okay, so I don't have a bottle of it to compare right now. So sometimes I keep Wild Turkey around, I don't have some. Chris, you are welcome to be live and in living color on the podcast whenever you want. Just hit me up, whatever, we'll work it out and you can come and be on the podcast and drink some booze with us. We'll have a good time. Anyhow, so what was I? I'm trying to do some changes, which might mean a different backdrop and a different area for the podcast. That might come to fruition in the next couple of weeks, and if it does, it'll be like the permanent backdrop as far as our podcast is concerned. I want to make something a little bit permanent. Right now, I've got to move this table in and move this table out, push it against the wall, that kind of thing, and I don't want to be able to do that. I want to be able to have everything set up. So, okay. Carissa, hit me up. You kind of already did about unlikely role model stuff. If you want stuff from this podcast, I still have some sizes left of my logo and stuff like that, and you're more than welcome to that too. If you want to purchase that, so just hit me up. We can talk about it, and like you can hit me up in like the TikTok DMs if you want to, whatever you want to hit me up, and we'll get it figured out and we'll get something sent out to you, or you can come and pick it up live and in person, whatever you want to do. I appreciate your support on both of the podcasts and everything. So, Caleb's gonna get a special beer package, and I'm gonna try. I got some bottles ordered. I haven't gotten them yet, but as soon as I get these bottles ordered, I'm gonna have 4-ouncer like sample bottles ordered, and I'll send you a couple of things that I have that I don't think you have, and so you can do some bourbon review stuff on those too. Bourbon and whiskey reviews, I should say, because I have some whiskeys I'll send you too. But yeah, other than that, I don't have stickers made for this podcast yet. I probably will. And if you guys want to do like a sticker exchange, or if you want to pay for a sticker or whatever, they're not going to be astronomical. They're going to be like $2. They might be like $2.50 to cover my postage or whatever, but they're not going to be astronomical by any means. And so stickers made. We have stickers made for the other podcast. We'll talk a little bit more about that on the next podcast. Did you get Chugs 3? I have not yet gotten Chugs 3. I just have the Chugs like 1. I have like the original. I have the original 1.0 or whatever, so nothing crazy. But I do want to try the other 2. I haven't gotten Chugs 2 yet, and I haven't gotten Chugs 3 yet. I definitely want to get at least samples of those just to see how different they are compared to. But other than that, I mean, that's kind of the show, guys. Like, nothing crazy. It is what it is. We're going to go out with a bang. We're just drinking this bourbon. We're going to just kind of continue our night nice, low, and slow. I've got a funeral tomorrow, unfortunately. A really good customer of mine. It was like a good friend and stuff like that. His wife passed away. I loved her to death, so I'm gonna go to her funeral tomorrow. So that is what it is. TBK, you have 1 and 2. Yeah, I have 1. I don't have 2 or 3. So maybe we just need to split a bottle. We'll get it figured out. I can get you some 2. It's a lot better. Yeah, we need to figure that out. Yeah, so like I said, it is what it is. I got a funeral tomorrow, and then we will be back Thursday, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time with Unlikely Role Models with my co-host Kyle, and we'll be bringing you the craziest and wildest news stories and everything else underneath the sun, and we'll probably knock out some beer reviews too. So please join us on Thursday this week, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for the other podcast. Other than that, I mean, I've been the Horny Gnome. This has been the Horny Gnome Bar, and this has been the Horny Gnome Booze Cruise Podcast, episode 12. That's a fucking wrap. I love you guys. I love you all. You don't have to stay here, but you don't need to go home either. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do because it's your life. But I'm done. So I'm shutting the doors. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for hopping on here. Thank you for hanging out. Special shout out to Caleb TBK124 over on TikTok. If you are not following my man Caleb, get him up to 1,000. He's been on that struggle bus for a while. He needs to get up to 1,000. So TBK124 over on TikTok. Please go and follow him. And let's get his numbers up and he can go live with us. And other than that, if you want some good content, go check out my girls, Carissa and 34. And Saries is it Glitter Panda 98 or something like that? Right? I think that's what it is. I think it's Glitter Panda 98 is Sari. That's Kyle's wife. Both of them have super funny, awesome, unique TikToks. Go check those guys out. I really appreciate it. And thanks for everybody that hopped in and spent some time with me on this wonderful Tuesday evening. I love you all. You're all the best. I appreciate it. I love you. I'm out of here.